What is up, everybody? So yesterday I asked Grok what Making a Murderer got right, what Making a Murderer left out, and I went over the results in a video. Grok is an AI program, and I thought it would be very interesting to see what it had to say about the case, and I am going to use it to go over a bunch of other cases as well. Today I asked it what Making a Murderer got right, but before we go into that, I want to go over what Kratz had to say about yesterday's video. I'll put everything up on the screen for you. If you want to give Kratz a follow, he's at Kratz Uncancelled on X. Here's what he had to say. Every item Grok identified in what Making a Murderer got wrong was in my book. It's funny how you read them on your channel. You mentioned how you like hearing both sides, yet when I've said exactly what Grok found, I'm a liar or not worthy of opinion or just exhibiting sour grapes. If you want to accurately explain what Grok found, at least publicly admit that I've been saying the same thing for 10 years now, instead of going to Grok to find if Making a Murderer got anything right. Are you saying you don't believe Grok? That would forever cement your bias in the case, and that's the part I want to talk about, which is okay as long as you tell everyone how biased you are. I literally made this in a video like a week or so ago, but you pretend to show both sides, but not really. I really like you personally. We've had some conversations back and forth, and we've gotten along fine. And we've had good conversations, but when Grok lists the exact same errors and omissions as I have about Making a Murderer, and you don't admit that, you do your listeners a disservice. Okay. So about the bias thing, again, I get this all the time and I don't care whatsoever. I just like explaining it because it makes what they say about me being biased and literally makes it make no sense to me. There's someone that comments on the videos and on my X all the time, but she doesn't want to be mentioned in the video for whatever reason. Doesn't matter. I don't get it. She publicly writes stuff all the time but doesn't actually want me to say her name, so I won't say her name. It's fine. So this person wrote that I'm biased as well a week, 2 weeks ago. I don't remember what it was. It was fairly recently. Like, I don't understand why bias. They're saying it in a negative context. To me, it's not negative, and to me, it's not bias. To me, it's having an opinion on a subject. If that opinion in your perspective means I'm biased because I don't agree with you, because you think I only put out one side of the story, I may go over almost everything Kratz talks about, and I put that out there, his opinion, publicly. It doesn't mean I'm going to necessarily agree with it. It doesn't even mean I have to agree with it. But me putting out what Kratz and other people say about the guilty side of this case shows that I'm going over both sides. I go over everything people that are innocent say. I go over everything that I find interesting that people think they are guilty say. I've always done that since the beginning, but I've often also gave my opinion. Just because you don't agree with my opinion, I could say Kratz is biased as well, but he was the lead prosecutor on the case, so of course he's going to be biased. He's the reason that Brendan Dassey and Stephen Avery are in prison to this day. He was the prosecutor on the case, he fought the case, and he won. So is he biased because he was the prosecutor? Am I biased because I have an opinion? Is Jerry Buting or Kathleen Zellner now biased because they once represented or are currently representing Stephen Avery? The bias thing is laughable to me. I find it very entertaining. I think they think it's gonna rile me up. They're calling me biased. Like, it's so stupid. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. I have an opinion. My opinion is one way. My opinion might be different than yours. You're biased one way, I guess. I'm biased the other way. It's so strange that people keep throwing that out there thinking it's going to, like, matter at all. I don't know. I just think it's weird that people think bias is a bad thing. Of course you're going to have an opinion that leads one way or the other. If I was out here screaming Stephen Avery was guilty, or Brendan Dassey was guilty, Kratz, this other person, and everybody else that says I'm biased wouldn't be saying anything. They'd be like, oh, he's on our side, he's right. but because I might have a different point of view or different opinion or don't agree with everything these people say, they say I'm biased. It's weird. I don't know. Anyway, here is what Grok had to say today about what Making a Murderer got right. It is nowhere near as long as yesterday's video. It came up with 5 points, and it even mentions Ken Kratz again at the end here. So here's what Making a Murderer got right. Making a Murderer, the Netflix documentary series that got released in 2015, has been praised for certain aspects of its storytelling and presentation, even as it has faced criticism for bias and omissions based on available information and critical analysis. Here is what the series is generally considered to have gotten right. Number 1, highlighting systematic issues in the justice system. The documentary effectively brought attention to potential flaws in the U.S. criminal justice system, such as police misconduct, evidence handling, and the challenges faced by defendants with limited resources. It showcased Stephen Avery's wrongful conviction in 1985 for a sexual assault he didn't commit, which was overturned in 2003 due to DNA evidence. This part of the story is undisputed and accurately underscores how innocent people can be imprisoned due to investigative errors or bias. Raising awareness of Brendan Dassey's interrogation. The series presented the interrogation of Brendan Dassey, Stephen Avery's nephew, in a way that sparked widespread concern about coercive tactics. It included footage showing Brendan Dassey, a 16-year-old with apparent intellectual limitations, being questioned without a lawyer or parent present. Experts and viewers alike noted that the techniques used, like leading questions and psychological pressure, aligned with methods known to risk false confessions, a point supported by a subsequent legal challenges to Dassey's conviction. Compelling narrative and emotional entanglement. The filmmakers crafted a gripping, slow-burning narrative that immersed viewers in the Avery family story. Critics have praised its cinematic quality. The emotional response helped it connect with audience and spark public debate. Exposing local conflicts of interest. The series accurately highlighted the conflict of interest involving Manitowoc law enforcement after Avery's 2003 exoneration. He filed a $36 million lawsuit against the county and officials tied to his wrongful conviction. The documentary showed how some of these same officials were involved in the 2005 Teresa Halbach murder investigation, raising legitimate questions about the impartiality, questions that were part of the defense's argument at trial. Speaking public discourse. By presenting Avery and Dassey's cases in a detailed, accessible format, Making a Murderer succeeded in prompting viewers to question the justice system. It led to petitions, media coverage, and even legal reconsiderations, such as the 2016 federal magistrate ruling that Dassey's confession was involuntary, though later overturned by a higher court. This reflects its strength in engaging the public with real-world issues. That said, the series has been criticized for what it didn't get right, namely its selective presentation of evidence. Prosecutors and others like Ken Kratz have argued it omitted key details. Example, Avery's DNA on Teresa Halbach's hood latch, prior allegation of disturbing behavior that supported the guilty verdicts. Critics also pointed to its one-side framing, which leaned heavily on the defense's perspective while downplaying the prosecution's case. Still, what it got right lies in its ability to shine a light on troubling aspects of the justice process and captivate viewers with a real-life story, even if it didn't get the whole story. Even if it didn't tell the whole story. Sorry. It was definitely a one-sided documentary. I mean, that's not hidden, right? They only showed the defense's side of things. I don't know how much they asked the prosecution to be involved. Maybe the prosecution wasn't allowed to be involved. Maybe they didn't want to be involved for whatever reason. I don't know. I'm sure they were asked and I guess declined. Maybe I'm making that up. Maybe they were never asked. I don't know. However, that's what Grok said Making a Murderer got right. What do you think? Let me know. Leave some comments below. I hope you're having a good day, and I will see you again soon.